everybody. So I'm gonna try and make a little dual daggers tutorial stream. I had a very interested homie message me in game, potentially, about a dual daggers tutorial ish. So I'm gonna go right now and try and find some mobs at my level in Storm Peaks. I think I'll be able to find some at my level in Storm Peaks, definitely. Or at least one level higher. I really love to find a level 78 mob. As you can see right now, I'm pretty much full brutal gear, level 77 still, with my brutal gear. I took the Gladiator Shanker and the Brutal Gladiator Shiv. I love that 1.4 speed. Really your bread and butter for this, for the spec, for the strategy, for everything, is going to be anything under, you know, the lowest speed that you can find, the better. In terms of this, it's crazy how it's like you could have higher damage with a 1.8 speed, but if you have 1.4 speed, man, you are just killing it. So there's a bunch of things that make this really successful and fun. One of which I find is your use between Blood Rage and Berserker Rage. Okay, I'll try and throw out one Sunder Armor, and I'm doing Heroic Strike almost every other cast. And I'll do one Hamstring. You can throw a Rend in. If you're going to do a Rend, I would do that at the start, if you love Rend. But you can see it's kind of just like a blood fest. Here, so level 78. So technically, okay, the way that I love to do this, that I would recommend doing this if it's your first time to get used to it and get into it, is to do Charge, Thunderclap, Demoralizing Shout, get a Rend if he's above 65% health, throw in Sunder Armor, and then start doing your Heroic Strike, Hamstring, Heroic Strike, Bloodthirst, Heroic Strike, Overpower, Heroic Strike, Bloodthirst, Heroic Strike, Sunder Armor, Heroic Strike, Execute. That's generally the way that I learned how to get good at this, was to be very structured, to follow to the T. And now I have Victory Rush, so I can Victory Rush, Heroic Strike, Bloodthirst, Heroic Strike, Hamstring, Heroic Strike, Rend. He's a little bit low health there for the Rend to even work, but Heroic Strike, Bloodthirst, Heroic Strike, Execute. But like I said, structured, okay? Structured. How should we do this properly? Let's get a you know, a battle shout. Charge, Thunderclap, Demoralizing Shout. Let's get that Rend out. Oh, what's up with this guy? My evade homie. I don't need to wait for the charge, but I think I'm gonna too. I'll use battle shout, so I have basically 0 rage at the start of this. So charge, Thunderclap, Demoralizing Shout. That's just going to keep you alive longer. Get that Rend out. Heroic Strike, Rend. Heroic Strike, Sunder Armor. And then, you know, my Heroic Strike isn't really casting. And then I get this free cast for Slam, or it's an instant cast. Heroic Strike, Overpower, Heroic Strike, Execute, Heroic Strike, Execute, whatever you want. Alright, now for the cool stuff. The cool stuff is using Berserker Rage and Blood Rage on cooldown. So we know that when I use Berserker Rage, anytime that I get attacked, where does it say it? Generates rage when taking damage. So I have a ton of rage right now because of my Berserker Rage ability. And then same thing, now that I'm done with Berserker Rage, I can click Blood Rage, even though Berserker Rage is up. I'm going to try and save it so that I have... And now we're going through quests. Now we're going through mobs quick. I'll use Berserker Rage and Intercept. Right? And now we're just speeding through these mobs. I'll try and keep my battle shout up. And it's Heroic Strike, Hamstring, Heroic Strike, Sunder, Heroic Strike, Bloodthirst, Heroic Strike, Execute. You want to be defaulting back to Heroic Strike as often as possible. And again, Berserker Rage is up. Heroic Strike, Hamstring, Heroic Strike, Overpower, Heroic Strike, Slam, Free Cast, Heroic Strike, Bloodthirst, Heroic Strike, Overpower again, Heroic Strike, It's under armor, but executes up. Try and get it in quick. Execute. Ow! Just right at the end. So I'm really able to go through mobs pretty quick. And again, you can see my Berserker Rage is up again. So Heroic Strike, Sunder, Heroic Strike, Hamstring, Heroic Strike, Bloodthirst, Heroic Strike, Victory Rush, Heroic Strike, free cast Slam, Heroic Strike, Overpower, Heroic Strike, Execute. It's really quick. And alright, let's try and show. Is this the rig guy who's stuck being on evade? I'm gonna try and show what I would do. I try and just do some hamstrings because it's 7 rage for me with my gear. Get a few hamstrings out, and that's enough where I put my two-hander on and Heroic Strike, Bloodthirst, Heroic Strike, Hamstring, Heroic Strike, Sunder Armor, Heroic Strike, Bloodthirst. It feels like it's not as fast. Heroic Strike, Free Cast Slam, and now I'm back to 0. And I'll put my dual daggers on again. I got low rage. It's sometimes good when you have like a really good two-hander. My two-hander isn't really the best, right? It's got 130 DPS, 3.7. It's got some great damage on it, but really the best would be like a 140 DPS damage per second two-hander to really like maximize on that. So you'll have to figure it out, but I did want to show a little back and forth with the two-hander to daggers. You know, I use all my rage with my two-hander, and then I switch back to dual daggers. And if you need to know, okay, the macro for daggers is going to be equip slot 16, equip slot 17. So your main hand should be equip slot 16, and then whatever the name is of your weapon, you put it there. And your offhand weapon is equip slot 17. You can also make another macro to do equip slot 16, your dagger name, or main hand weapon name. And then for your offhand, you could take your shield name, which mine is Nerubian Inner Husk. So I would make another macro that's say Nerubian Inner Husk right here, whatever your shield name is. And then I, of course, have my macro set up here where I can put the shield on, just clicking this, and the dual daggers, clicking that, and then the two-hander, back to dual daggers, back to the shield, back to dual daggers. I don't have the macro set up. I can't do my two-hander to my shield because I don't have the macro proper. I just have the shield icon. I just dragged my shield over to my bar. Where's my shield at? Wherever my shield is in my bags, I just dragged it onto my... Oh, I'm wearing my shield. No wonder. Okay. I just dragged my shield over to my bar, and that's what that is. But you can make a separate macro for that. In my opinion, it's super fast. You saw me go through like almost 10 or 12 mobs. At a certain point with my Bloodthirst, just because Bloodthirst heals me, I can... And I think it also has to do a little bit... You know, it might not just be with Bloodthirst. It also could be with my Troll regeneration. Passive health regeneration rate increased by 10%, and then 10% of my total health regeneration may continue during combat. So you can see I just finished that fight, and I'm still at, you know, basically 90% health. So a lot of times I can go down to 20% health, and then I can stay at... I can keep going. But the things that you need to know for this build are what abilities you cannot hit. What abilities share a cooldown with Heroic Strike? Because you are basically trying to do... like, it's almost like ping pong. You're trying to hit with Heroic Strike and then hit with another ability that doesn't share a cooldown. So, you know, what abilities are those? Right? So, really, I don't think much stacks with my Heroic Strike here. Maybe Mocking Blow. But what I'm saying is that you could essentially... you can see the cooldown goes on everything. So Hamstring, Sunder Armor. So you could go Heroic Strike, Sunder, Heroic Strike, Bloodthirst, Heroic Strike, Overpower, Heroic Strike, Sunder, Heroic Strike, Hamstring, Heroic Strike, Rend, Heroic Strike, Overpower, or Thunderclap, Heroic Strike, Bloodthirst, Heroic Strike. So you're kind of feeling out what and how to make that ping pong, what I call the ping pong, happen. And a lot of times, I stopped using Rend, but if you're first starting out, it is really successful. Like, you will stay high health if you Thunderclap and Demoralizing Shout almost every mob that you're on. I'll try and do that really quick. Okay. We're at 10,500 health. Thunderclap, Demoralizing Shout, Berserker Rage, Bloodthirst, Victory Rush, Heroic Strike, Hamstring for fun, Heroic Strike, Sunder Armor, can't get it out, I use my Heroic Strike, and then we're looking at Execute, so Heroic Strike, Execute whenever I can, ooh, and you get it out, and there it is, and now we're at 9,000 health. Oh, this one's on evade. Let's do Thunderclap, Demoralizing Shout, Heroic Strike, Overpower, Heroic Strike, Victory Rush, Heroic Strike, Sunder Armor, try to get that out early, Heroic Strike, Hamstring, Hamstring's just a good way to generate some rage here and there, and I get my free slam cast. Here's my another free slam cast again, so I'll try and get out of slam. But if you look at it, a lot of times your Heroic Strike is going to do more damage than most of your other abilities, so it depends on where your rage is at. Like, I'll use a Hamstring just to generate rage, because when I use a Hamstring, everybody knows I just generated, you know, 15, 17 rage there for using it. So, it's really quick. I love how quick it is. There's almost zero downtime between fighting mobs. I'm at 8,000 health. Haven't eaten yet. I'm barely losing health here. Right, and every now and then I'll try and do the Demoralizing Shout. But my Berserker Rage is up. You cannot click Berserker Rage with any other ability. You can see that the cooldown, my global cooldown there. But Blood Rage you can use with any ability. Blood Rage you can use at any time. That's what I'm trying to say. Berserker Rage, you can see if I use Hamstring right now, my cooldown refreshes on, so I can't. If I use Sunder Armor, I can't use Berserker Rage. If I use Bloodthirst, I can't use. So, keep that in mind, okay, when you're using your abilities here. If you want to check out my talents, I'll show you real quick and just go over why we have this, why we have that. Okay, so I pretty much started in arms at level 1 because I really want to get tactical mastery to retain 15 bonus points of rage when I change stances. Whenever you change stances right now, without this talent, you can retain 10 rage. With tactical mastery talent, you can retain up to a grand total of 25 rage. So I really like this because a lot of times in the middle of a fight, I want to get into Berserker stance and use Recklessness, okay, or even Death Wish in Berserker stance. So I'll do as much, and it's so tough sometimes to fight your rage bar to get your rage down, especially if you pop cooldowns. And I'm like, oh crap, I forgot. I wanna get into Berserker. Oh, there we go, 25 rage. I just hit it. I just had 25. You can see my rage number here. So it's kind of tough to hit 0 rage without wasting rage, you know, in terms of a waste rage kind of atmosphere. So I really like tactical mastery. Of course, having Heroic Strike 3 points is great, and then this charge is amazing. Increases the amount of rage generated by charge ability by 10. I mean, you're using charge so often that it's such a great ability. Such a great talent to have, I mean. You know, and then of course I just dumped that 1 point in anger management because 1 rage per 3 seconds, why not? And sometimes you can do 2 points in deflection. If you're really trying to be more of a tank than you are a DPS, you could forget these 2 points in Rend, because Rend right now is only going to do, you know, an additional 348 damage based on weapon damage. So it's going to do maybe 600 damage over time, 725 damage here with my weapons. I could try and put my two-hander on and see. Okay, so now it's going to do 1,125 damage with my two-hander. So I'm not really using Rend that much. So you could skip getting this talent. But, you know, I think it's cool. and I like it, so I just went with this. And I don't really, you know, I've been so good at this that I don't really have that much of a problem with tanking, so I don't really want those 2 points in deflection up here. Then we'll get to Fury. Of course, your bread and butter. You know, anytime you crit, you bonus generate rage. So, you know, having a high crit chance, I have 30% crit chance, you can see. Right? Having high crit chance is going to be pretty helpful for this build. Right? And I get Cruelty first, and I go straight to Unbridled Wrath. Unbridled Wrath is great with fast speed weapons. Okay? It gives you a chance to generate an additional rage point when you deal damage with a melee weapon. Or with a weapon. Now that you have a 1.4 speed offhand and a 1.8 speed main hand, I mean, you might swing, you know, 5 times in 1 second, you know. Let's see, can I even count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you know. So I had 10 chances for Unbridled Wrath. I bet you could see. Yep, look at that. Look at that right here. I'm gaining points from Unbridled Wrath left and right through this whole fight. Oh, man. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 extra rage points from Unbridled Wrath. Just right, what was that, 5 seconds long, that fight? So that's, Unbridled Wrath is really, if you have a two-hander, you're going to go two-hand build, you're going to have a sword and board, you know, you're going to do a tanky build. How effective is it going to be? I can't really tell you. You know, but I know for sure with this dual dagger build that you're going to be getting a lot out of your Unbridled Wrath talents having, you know, fast speed weapons. And then I love improved cleave. You can always go to Blood Craze if that's your preference, especially if you're going to be tanky. Right? If you're going to be tanky, you know, you might not be using cleave that much. But I do... There's not that many mobs here. But when I... Man, maybe I can try and show this. Let's give it a shot. Okay? I have 2 mobs on me. I have 1 mob on me. I'll try and show it again really quick. I want to try and show what it's like if I have 3 mobs on me. In defensive stance. Why do I pick improved cleave? Anyways, here's why. I pick improved cleave because when I go into defensive stance, okay, and I use Berserker Rage. Can I use Berserker Rage in defensive stance? Is that allowed? Awesome, it is allowed now. That's really cool. This looks dangerous, but we're gonna do it. Okay, whatever. Just maybe just find like 3 mobs to attack me right now, please. Let's go into defensive stance. Never mind, they're getting lasered. But you can click Berserker Rage, a bunch of people are hitting you, and I will get out, man, 5 to 7 cleaves in a row in defensive stance when I'm fighting mobs in a dungeon. So I like improved cleave. It's not a necessary ability. It does pretty much double damage and a little bit more than normal cleave does, having this talent. Okay, which isn't huge, but it could be good for, you know, I will literally put on defensive stance and click Berserker Rage, and then I'm just doing, I have aggro on four mobs. I'm just tab target cleave, tab target cleave, tab target cleave, and I'll get 5 to 7 out before I'm out of rage, and suddenly I say, oh, okay, let's tap targets on armor now. Okay, so I love that. And then moving down into this, you know, your offhand weapon does bonus damage. Obviously awesome to, you know, hold threat, generate threat, keep aggro. Right? I love the improved execute. This is possibly my favorite talent, one of them. Right? Execute costs 10 rage now. I mean, that's insane, especially because in Wrath of the Lich King, maximum cost of 30 rage. So you cannot spend more than 30 rage on execute, which is beautiful. But because I'm generating so much rage quickly, you know, a lot of times too, execute will crit, which somehow generates more rage as well. Whenever I get an execute crit, it somehow I'm getting rage too. So sometimes I can get out 2 or 3 executes in a row at 10 rage, which is really helpful. And then Enrage is a super amazing ability. 30% chance to receive 10% damage bonus. Oh yeah, okay. So you got a 30% chance to deal 10% bonus damage after being the victim of a damage anytime you get damaged. So this procs a lot, where your damage is going to be increased by 10% almost all throughout the fight, always. And then, of course, pretty standard, you know, get that 3% hit chance, right? Death Witch, pretty standard as well. When you activate, you become enraged, increasing all your physical damage, but also increasing your damage taken. It's a great damage ability, especially for an off tank, right? If you're somebody with the main tank with an off tank, as soon as your main tank taunts, you got 30 seconds to dump as much damage as possible before you got to taunt again, you know? And then, of course, Death Wish 2 works like, what do I need, Rage for this? Yeah. You can have Death Wish on and then right-click the ability and turn it off, okay? And then, of course, Bloodthirst is awesome. I used to hate Bloodthirst. I used to never use Bloodthirst. I thought it took too much Rage. I think they brought it down from Rage in TBC or from Classic. And it's now 20 Rage, which is awesome. It's a very strong ability. And the best thing, you know what? The best thing about Bloodthirst is that it does not share cooldown with Rogue Strike. So it counts as almost like a hamstring. So it's really successful with that. Your bread and butter ability, talent, is this one. Improved Berserker Rage. This one, I love this one so much. The Berserker Rage ability generates 20 Rage when used instantly. I'm at 4 Rage. Now I have 20 Rage. 23, 24 Rage. So, that's amazing. And then this is... I could not go without these two talents. Improved Berserker Rage and Intensify Rage. It reduces the cooldown of Blood Rage, Berserker Rage by 33%. Which means I can use this once every 20 seconds. I mean, it is brutal what I can do in combat, especially when I'm tanking and I need more rage, right? Just bam, just pop that and you got it. Rampage is pretty cool. Increases your hit, your melee crit chance. Duh, that works great for you. You got 5% crit chance out of nowhere with this. And Blood Surge. I really love Blood Surge. This is so cool because it suddenly makes my slam viable, right? So you still have the cost of slam, which is 15 rage, but it becomes an instant cast. And the cool thing about it is that slam does not share cooldown with your heroic strike. So when you have enough rage, I just clicked all my my trinkets. Trinket proc. Okay. Now one other thing that's really important is I started out with this talent, but you can see right now my strength is at 541. And if I click Berserker Stance, where does my strength? What happens to my strength? My strength goes to 650. So this talent says, and I did not realize this at first, this talent says that in Berserker Stance, it increases your strength by 20%. So you have to be in Berserker Stance to have your strength increased, which I kind of plan to go tanky. I'm not in Berserker Stance that often. Even when I'm DPSing in a dungeon, I'm starting in Battle Stance, charging in, trying to dump as much rage as I can, and then switching to Berserker Stance. And I'm really only there briefly. So this is more of a DPS talent, and I don't really like it as much as I thought I would. So I'm kind of going to get rid of this talent. I would definitely finish off, you know, if you have Bloodthirst and you're taking this path, this talent tree path, right, you're going to want to have these points in Unending Fury talent, right? The damage of your Slam and Bloodthirst. I'm using Slam and Bloodthirst as much as I can. Whenever I get an instant cast proc, Heroic Strike and Bloodthirst and Whirlwind have a chance to make my next Slam instant cast. Not 1.5 second long cast. So I would definitely get Unending Fury. I'm gonna redo my talents and not get this talent point. And I'll show you why. So instead of these 5 talent points here, what I'm actually gonna do is I put the 2 points in Blood Rage, increases the rage generated by my Blood Rage by 50%, which is awesome. I'm actually gonna put the 3 points into Thunderclap. Reduces the cost of Thunderclap ability by, should be 4 points at the very end, and increases the damage by a little bit, which is whatever. But those 5 points that we took away from this Berserker, improved Berserker stance, I'm going to be putting them into, of course, Insight. Increases the critical strike chance of Heroic Strike, Thunderclap, and Cleave. So that's where I'm going to finalize this build off at. Is right there. So I think I have 2 points left, so I can finish this off, and I'm going to take 5 away from that. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3 points in Thunderclap, and then 2 or 3 points. And let me see if I can actually make this work real quick with a talent calculator. Just for the heck of it, let's go for Warrior. Okay, we'll do pretending that you're at level 1. This is going to be in order, and then you can put your. Oh, I wrote out what I was going to do. 2 points in Rend or 2 points in Deflection, whatever you want. 5 points or 3 points in Tactical Mastery, 2 points in Improved Charge. I think we're getting rid of Anger Management to make Insight work better. Get to 5 points in Cruelty with the crit strike chance there. 5 points in Unbridled Wrath. You saw how effective it is. Got these 3 points in the attack power one. I prefer Improved Cleave. Okay, normally I would put 2 points in Blood Craze and then keep going on, but we now have this ability, Armor to the Teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 points in Improved Hit, Death Wish, Berserker Rage, Intensify Rage, Bloodthirst. Oh, Flurry. You need Flurry. I didn't go over Flurry yet. Increases your attack speed by 25% chance your next 3 swings after I deal a crit. This talent is insane. It's so tough to go from using this talent to not having this talent anymore. It's insanely good. 3 points in that, 5 points in Unending Fury. Okay, let's see if I can get... How many points? I have 4 points left. 1, 2, 3. Yep, so I... Blood Crage finished off. Okay, let's do it how I want to do it, though. And I think I'm going to take out 1 point... Oh, wait, what? This ends up being perfect. And I can get these 3 points in Insight and have Anger Management at the same time? What am I missing? What am I missing here, boys? 3 in Heroic Strike, 2 in Rend, 3 in Tactical Mastery, 2 in Improved Charge, 1 in Anger Management, 5 in Cruelty, 5 in Unbridled Wrath, 3 in Improved Cleave, 2 in this cool Armor to the Teeth, increases my attack power by a good amount, 2 in Execute, love that Execute, 5 in Enrage, 5 in Offhand, 3 in Hit Chance, 1 in Death Witch, 2 in Improved Berserker Wave, 3 in Intensify Rage, 1 in Bloodthirst, 5 in Flurry. Oh yeah, I love that Flurry. 3 in this Instant Cast, 1 in Rampage, and 5 in Unending Fury. Don't need Furious attacks. Don't need Heroic Fury unless I'm PvPing hard. I don't like Titan Script. I'm going to be dual wielding anyways with daggers, with one-handers. Okay. 2 points in Blood Rage, 3 points in Thunderclap, 3 points, and I have 1 point left now? Where? Oh. Armor to the Teeth. So you can put this 1 point extra wherever you want. If you prefer, if you're going to be doing PvP, then sure, get Heroic Fury. Right? That might be cool. Another one that's cool also is your Improved Intercept. This is pretty helpful, especially in PvP or just in the world. You know, I would recommend this. You could always put it 1 point in Piercing Howl if you like that ability. It's not too bad for tanking. Okay, or even just getting 1 point in Blood Craze could give you that enough. Could give you just that health that you're looking for in Blood Craze. Okay, otherwise, this is my standard talent sheet. This is what I'm doing here. I'm going to get rid of these 5 points like I said. Also, I plan to be tanky, so having my threat reduced by 10% in Berserker stance. Well, I'm going to do a lot of tanking once you get real good gear, man, you're going to be tanking in Berserker stance. I'm pretty sure pretty often. Right? So that's kind of where we're at. And you just got to mess with it, you know? Figure out how to stance. You know, get good at switching stances. Having your bar set up, of course, with that. So, in my opinion, this is the most fun spec in the game. I actually made one of each class up to level 40. About. Never thought I'd play a warrior. Right? Let me just try and show this real quick. It's going to be 20 seconds to log out, but I made one of each class first before I made my warrior to level 20. Got everybody to level 20. Didn't think I was going to play the warrior at all. Fate and destiny intertwined in one magical moment. Level 2, I'm obviously the troll. At level 2, I get the fisherman's knife. And I was dagger shield all the way up to level 20. So you can see I made the priest, I made the shaman, I made the rogue, I made the hunter. Out of the druid 60, these guys got put, I switched to man crick, a PvE server. And then of course I had the mage and the warlock, and the warrior man is the most fun. I mean, I mained a druid tank, and the druid tank is great, super strong, super fun, lots of good times, totally the best. Lots of crits. Just incredible. But the druid tank has 4 abilities. You're going to be doing 4 abilities, maybe 5 if you include fairy fire. Fairy fire feral abilities that you're going to be tanking with, and that's going to be it. You're only hitting 5 abilities. I mean, right now we got, charge, bloodthirst, thunderclap, right? Demoralizing shout. Okay, heroic strike, hamstring, heroic strike, overpower, heroic strike, bloodthirst, berserker rage, heroic strike, blood rage, heroic strike, bloodthirst, free crass slam, back to heroic strike. I mean, what's that? 10 abilities right there. Rend. I throw a rend in. Oh, mocking blow. Right. Execute. That's like 17 abilities right there that I just called out. So the tanking on the warrior is so much more fun than, in my opinion, than the druid. And having these dual daggers makes you able to use every ability in your kit completely. And then, of course, you have defensive stance. We didn't even go over, right? You got revenge. Every now and then, I'll switch the shield on and do a shield slam. Mid-fight. You can switch the shield on and click shield slam mid-fight, and then put back the dual daggers. Right. Let's get to a fight here. Switch on. Put the shield on. Go to defensive stance. Click shield slam. Or, well, I don't think you need to be in defensive stance for shield slam, and then put the dual daggers back on. It was pretty quick. So, that's about everything I can explain with dual daggers. So, and then if you're curious, now that we're here and so many guilds are asking me about raid teams in the middle of this, we do have 88 online, a lot of 80s. Okay, we do have, usually we have about 150 to 200 people online. I mean, it's 3 p.m. Eastern right now. We have 88 online. We have 982 guild members. I refresh this pretty much always. Last online, we have 3 people that we've kept in that are past 20 days. I'm probably going to clear out enough people from 15 days offline soon to come. If you haven't logged in on a 70 right now, this is going to be an all, we have 2 guilds. So, anything else I can explain about this? Definitely have so much fun. You're going to have so much fun, What would I normally do as a tank? I would normally charge in, right, thunderclap, demoralizing roar, switch to berserker stance. Oh, click berserker rage, but you don't need to do that anymore. You can do berserker rage from anywhere. So I would charge in, thunderclap, demoralizing shout, and then switch to defensive stance. And it's just crazy. Let's see if we can get it. Charge in. Thunderclap. Demoralizing Shout. Switch to defensive stance. Click Berserker Rage. Cleave. Bloodthirst. Cleave. Sunder Armor. Tap target. Cleave. Slam. Cleave. Bloodthirst. Cleave. Revenge. Cleave. Bloodthirst. Cleave. Use Berserker. Cleave. Bloodthirst. Use a potion if I need to, but I don't. Bloodthirst. Then finish it off. So that's really what we're looking at. You know, you can see that's pretty fun. But what I wanted to show is that you get a ton of cleaves non-stop in a row there when you have Berserker Rage clicked. Right? Alright. Thanks, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed this little dual daggers tutorial. Hopefully it worked out and it was great. Have a good one. Peace!